Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 18 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. First of all, sorry for the lack of uploads the last couple of days or so. The past week was probably one of the busier weeks that I've had in school just because of a bunch of exams, and it was really like the first round of midterms. So yeah, I was super busy with that and was just focusing on that. And then the little bit time I did have after that, I was trying to figure out what to use for the Costa Mesa Regional Championships, which I played in this past weekend. Didn't do as well as I would have liked there. I ended up finishing with 6 wins and 2 losses, so I was one, round away from making the top 8, but I did have my losses pretty early on, so that was kind of demoralizing. Ultimately, I ended up finishing 17th, so I did get some championship points towards Worlds. I think like over like 60% qualified for Worlds now, so I'll probably play in 2 more regionals, most likely Portland in the end of March and then Salt Lake City in May to try to seal up my Worlds invite. And quite the interesting team we are up against today. So I'm using my team from Costa Mesa. It's not really innovative at all. It's just my take on one of the more popular teams in the metagame right now. I've actually meant to post the team analysis for the previous team. That should go up sometime this upcoming week. And we are actually going up against something that looks exactly like the previous team I was using, just with a Lickitung instead of, I'm trying to remember the Pokemon that has replaced, the Snorlax. So, couldn't ask for a better team to go up against them to kick off this episode. So yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of those that I met over in Costa Mesa. It's always just really nice meeting a lot of fans and awesome people at regionals and events in general. So thank you guys. Anyway, yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm using a relatively standard team. I'm going to be switching teams relatively soon because this isn't exactly what I want to use for Road to Rank in particular, but I just haven't gotten like a new team in game yet. So going up against my opponent's team, I mean, obviously like the goal is really to deny the setup. So I mean, Kang got this, like what I like to lead with. A Megatar honestly is, I think, pretty solid here. Megatar, Amoonguss is interesting to look at. Actually, Amoonguss is going to be really important here for me, I think, because it is able to clear Smog the Azumarill. So I actually do like Mega Tyranitar here with Amoonguss. So I'm going to lead with those two. Definitely going to have Lele in the back. And I'm thinking Landorus is the last one, just for Intimidate and for Scarf Superpower. Did I run out of time? Or did I confirm? It looked like I pressed A quickly enough. So I couldn't tell if I was running on time or not, because I thought I had a couple seconds left. So we're going to get into this one. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the season, my goal was to focus a little bit less on competing this year. So, obviously I commentated Memphis Regionals in December and then the Australia Internationals just a few weekends ago. So, yeah, as a result, like, I am still focusing on commentating a little bit more, but I do like the option. I would like the option of potentially playing in Worlds if I figure out a team that I really like and I think that gives me a good shot at winning. So that's why I still am competing. So it's going to be Kang and Goth coming out from my opponent as a lead. First question I gotta ask is whether there is a Coco in the back. Presumably there is, just because obviously that could give me some trouble. If so, my opponent could switch out. Kangaskhan could just choose to fake out Tyranitar. So there's a lot of mind games here because I feel like I have a pretty decent position, especially with the Spore potential and Gothitelle. So what do I want to do here? Because like Kangaskhan just low kicking into Tyranitar is a relatively risky play. Like, I could just go for a Dragon Dance. I'm thinking Dragon Dance Rage Powder. Yeah. Yeah, just in case to cover the low kick. I mean, Kangaskhan here could just switch out into Coco. Otherwise, we could see a fake out into Amoonguss. Or a fake out into Tyranitar. That's probably the worst. Worst case is fake out Tyranitar, Psyshock, Amoonguss, I think. But God switches out. Okay, so that's good. Into Coco. I'll take that. So that probably means that I'm going to be eating up a fake out into the Tyranitar slot. Just because that's like the safest play possible for my opponent. But what that means is that I forced the Gothitelle to switch out, which is at least good for me. And this following turn I could potentially switch into my Tapu Lele and go for a Spore. So Tyranitar is going to Mega Evolve as well. Yeah, so this team has both Mega Tyranitar and Mega Metagross, and one thing that really impressed me, honestly, at Costa Mesa is Mega Tyranitar. I think it's really strong. And, oh, we actually don't see... We're going to see the Rage Powder come out. Is that not a Fake Out coming out, then? Oh, yeah, it actually is a low kick, which is so good for me. Yeah, because first of all, Amoonguss takes absolutely no damage from that, but I also get a Dragon Dance off, which puts me in a really solid spot. Because Mega Tyranitar, once it gets the dance up, is just such a big threat. That's really good news for me. Yeah, so I was not expecting that. Now, I am not Jolly. I'm admin max speed, so I actually don't think I outspeed Coco, if I remember correctly. But that's fine. Rage Powdering is, like, the safer play here. I could, like, protect. I think you probably Ice Punch Amoonguss and Dazzling Gleam. So I could play really risky and just protect Amoonguss and Rock Slide. But I think I'll still just play it safe here by Rock Sliding and Rage Powdering. Because worst case, like, Ice Punch plus Dazzling plus Sandstorm activates my Berry. Rock Slide might actually just outright knock out Coco. If not, it still is in a pretty decent spot. But yeah, Megatar plus Amoonguss puts in a lot of work against my old team. Especially because of Amoonguss making sure Latozumarill and Snorlax, although my opponent is Lickitung instead, can't set up. I'm going to get the Rage Powder off. Okay, Coco's going for the Hidden Power, so opting not to go for the Dazzling. My opponent's just not doing any damage with these Pokemon. I mean, yeah, I mean, Amoonguss was a pretty big issue for my team just when I was using it. We actually see the Double Edge come out. So yeah, that was an opportunity for me to protect Amoonguss. But that should activate my Berry as, yeah, it just puts me exactly there. Gonna heal all the way back up with my Berry. Kangaskhan's gonna take a ton of recoil damage, and then I can just go for the same play again next turn. In fact, I could actually even gamble a little bit and go for a second Dragon Dance, which the more I think about, the more I think that's a better play. The only downside is if a Hidden Power knocks out Amoonguss, and then Low Kick would knock me out as well, so maybe it's not worth gambling here, and just probably better to Rock Slide, because my old team really doesn't have any Rock Resists. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna Rage Powder and Rock Slide here. Just in case HPI somehow knocks out Amoonguss or crits. I honestly don't know how, like, if I were my opponent, maybe I'd consider Fake Out and Psyshocking Amoonguss turn 1. Or maybe, no, Fake Out Tyranitar, Psyshock Amoonguss, but then, obviously, you have the risk of getting spored. Kangaskhan actually swaps out, so that's a good play. Got's going to come back in. Fine by me. As we're going to see just the Rage Powder come out. Yeah, so maybe I could have gone for a second Dragon Dance, but I'd rather just knock out Coco, just because that is kind of a nuisance to my teams, though. We do just see a Dazzling Gleam come out, so nice play by my opponent. Yeah, Tyranitar hangs on, takes that really well. Rock Slide comes out, is going to fortunately hit the Gothitelle, also going to knock out the Coco, so that's good. Getting rid of Coco is also always nice, and you can see how strong Mega Tyranitar is with Rock Slide. Like, it's just weird seeing Rock Slide do that much damage, because normally we see it from, like, regular Tyranitar or Landorus-T, but here it actually chunks, not even chunks, it puts Gothitelle under half, which is incredible. The only downside is I can't switch out right now. I think if I had the ability to switch Amoonguss out into Tapu Lele here, I'd pretty much win the game instantly. But I'm still in quite the good spot, especially as Kangaskhan is forced to Fake Out my Tyranitar, and we'll probably see a Trick Room come out from Gothitelle. So my opponent could potentially still win this, but it really comes down to who's in the back, I think. Because it's going to be Azumarill or Amoonguss. I mean, it could be Lickitung. I'd love to see Lickitung because I have no idea what that does, and I'm surprised to see that over Snorlax. And the Azumarill would be interesting, but I do put on a lot of pressure against it as well still. So I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide here, and I'm going to go for a... I actually don't want to reveal Clear Smog yet, I think. So, it's probably best to actually protect. Just in case my opponent tries to knock out the Amoonguss with a Fake Out or a Psyshock. Like, presumably Kangaskhan here is going to Fake Out Tyranitar, but Sam's going to knock out the Kangaskhan anyways, so I don't want to reveal Clear Smog. It's not going to... Like, the damage output against Gothitelle doesn't matter at all. So we do see a Fake Out. It does target Tyranitar, which is, like, the correct play, obviously. The only downside here is now I can't protect Amoonguss next turn, but I don't think I really have a reason to protect, as Gothos finally set up Trick Room. So I'm up 4-2 now. Kangaskhan's going to Feint, and Kangaskhan and Coco are two of the main means of offense on that team. Now, so it really comes down to what my opponent has in the back, and my Amoonguss is still min speed, so that gives me a pretty good advantage, really, against anything my opponent can have. So obviously, if that's the God set that I was running with Psyshock, Trick Room, Heal Pulse, and Helping Hand, then it won't have Protect, which I could utilize to my advantage, and it is going to be the Azumarill as the last Pokemon. Okay, so that's totally fine with me. Quite frankly, I don't see what's stopping me from just clicking Rock Slide here and Rage Powder. Because Azumarill, if it wants to Aqua Jet... I mean, Aqua Jet won't even knock me out. Helping Hand Aqua Jet could, so I can Rage Powder that away. Because Clear Smog's not going to... Like, Azumarill's not going to set up until after I Clear Smog. So I think Rage Powder Rock Slide is my best play here. Knock out the Gothitelle, bring it to a 3v1, bring out Tapu Lele, and then Azumarill cannot Aqua Jet, even if it sets up Belly Drum. Unless this Azumarill has superpower. That's the one way it could pull something off. But yeah, we just see a Psyshock, that's fine. So, yeah, the Rage Predator is really just to make sure that this Tyranitar gets the attack off. Crunch might have actually been more optimal. We do see Azumarill set up the Belly Drum, but that's fine as long as I hit the Rock Slide, because that should knock out God, should do a ton to Azumarill. Yeah, I probably should have crunched there. I think if I could redo the turn, I'd crunch, just to ensure the knockout on Goth, because if I miss, that could be kind of bad. But if I hit, that should be game. And I do connect, so yeah, I think it's over now. Even if this doesn't knock out Azumarill outright, which it doesn't, Sand is obviously ticking down. I think it's about to expire pretty soon, but now I can just bring in Tapu Lele, and you can't Aqua Jet me. And even if you could, like, it's just 2v1, so yeah. Azumarill, like, that's why I like normally having Snorlax in the back with that team instead of Azumarill, because it's able to take attacks a little bit better, and it can also heal back with Recycle, whereas with Azumarill, I think it's better typically to lead more aggressively with it, with like Kangaskhan Azumarill. But my old team does have some weaknesses, especially against, like Amoonguss is pretty difficult to play against, as you saw when I played James Beck, I kind of got destroyed by it. So yeah, Azumarill here, we'll get a knockout, but I will get a knockout in return. And there's not much an Azumarill can do 3v1 when it's already taken all that damage. So yeah, Mega Tyranitar, the MVP. I'm really glad in the first game that I used it, it really put in work, because it is incredible. So yeah, obviously no Aqua Jet can come out. The one way I lose this game is if I like Protect. So might as well just attack with Pokemon. Crunch here, we'll seal the deal. We'll get the knockout on Azumarill, and we'll get our first win with this team. So yeah, you know, when I was actually practicing with this team, like I had pretty much like 1.5 days to play some games with this team, so I just like grinded on Showdown for a little bit. As my DS is dying, so I actually need to get my charger, but I'll keep talking. So, as I was practicing with this team, I felt like I just wasn't bringing Mega Tyranitar at all. Like, the most common mode I went with was, like, Zapdos, Amoonguss, Metagross. Sorry, Zapdos, Metagross. That's, like, one of the more common leads with Landorus and Lele in the back, which is actually the same 6 Pokemon as my rain team, just, obviously the sets are quite different. For example, HP Ice on Zapdos. What else? Yeah, a little bit more offensive of the Zapdos. Tapu Lele not running Scarf, running Psyche MZ instead. Sorry, I had to go. Yeah, okay, we're plugged in now. Sorry about that. Yeah, what else? Metagross. The Metagross, I think, is the same set I ran back on Road to Ranked with that one. Landorus, I ran Band Landorus on the Rain team. I ran the typical Scarf one on this team just because Scarf Landorus, it's just really clutch, especially when you have like the potential to not only get Intimidates off, but obviously like fast Rock Slides from Tyranitar. If it gets Dragon Dance off Landorus and Metagross with Iron Head, like the flinch chances are obviously in your favor as well. So we're going to find Dex for our second opponent of the day, running a really interesting team. And speaking of interesting teams, we saw a lot of cool stuff over in Costa Mesa. I want to do a regionals recap / analysis of what we saw this past weekend, so I'm going to try to also get that up this upcoming week. But Vikavolt, Butterfree, Raichu, Tapu Lele, Blastoise, and Pelipper. So I look at this and I'm just like, what is going on? Gotta be worried about Tailwind, gotta be worried about Rain, gotta be worried about Water Spouts. It's the Butterfree that I'm kind of concerned about. I think Scarf Landorus is probably a good call here. I'm thinking Scarf Landorus with Zapdos. I'm just really worried about like the Blastoise and Pelipper combination. Yeah. I could go Lele. Ooh, Lele Metagross is also kind of tempting. But then that means, like, I could still bring Tyranitar and just not go Mega. I really do think I need Sand in this game, though. I mean, Tyranitar honestly seems pretty incredible. So I'm going to go Lele Metagross because it blocks Fake Outs from both Blastoise and... what am I trying to say? Blastoise and the Raichu. It's just who I want in the back, Landorus or Zapdos. I think both are honestly pretty good here, but I'm opting for Landorus just because it's Scarfed, and I think the speed advantage will give me it'll help me out. But this is a very scary team to go up against because, like, first of all, anytime in best of 1 you play a team with Pokemon and sets that you're not entirely sure of, that it's a lot trickier. Which is why, like, I always feel more confident in best of 3, especially, like, I feel like best of 3 is, like, I can go into a tournament without too much practice and do relatively well, but for best of 1, like, that's something where I think it's really about having a good team that can cover all your options in best of 1. So it's going to be Butterfree and Blastoise, which I think I'll take. The only downside here is Butterfree, I believe, does get access to Tailwind, so we could just see it launch a Tailwind immediately. So, I think there are two plays for my opponent here. I mean, the safest one is really just to protect Blastoise and go for a Tailwind with Butterfree. Which is pretty scary. Alternatively, you could just gamble and Sleep Powder with Butterfree, but I feel like you shouldn't. I'm going to Shattered Psyche Blastoise because I want to get damage through the Protect, because presumably it's going to Protect here, and I'm just going to Iron Head Butterfree. I think my opponent really should just Tailwind and Protect here. I'll be kind of frustrated if he just Sleep Powders and Water Spouts, because I could just Zen Headbutt the Blastoise slot. Yeah, Landorus Zapdos would have been a better lead here, because I'd have Scarf Rock Slide and Tailwind, although I suppose you could fake out with Blastoise with that. I really wish Psychic Terrain just affected everything. That'd be a lot nicer. But this is pretty terrifying of a lead, to be honest. Especially with Butterfree. Okay, so Blastoise does Mega Evolve. Ideally, Butterfree tries to like Sleep Powder Metagross, and then I just knock out Blastoise, but I think that's highly unlikely. So let's see if Blastoise protects. Ooh, should have considered that one. This is bad. I think burning Z moves, especially something like a Shattered Psyche, is like one of like the most frustrating things to see. I think I'm just gonna eat a Water Spout here, and do I lose both Pokemon? I honestly have no idea how much a Blastoise Water Spout's gonna do to me. But yeah, that obviously could have been a lot. I mean, the upside is my opponent doesn't get Tailwind up, because if you got Tailwind up, Water Spout, it kind of wrecks my whole team. So the main question now is, does it just one-shot like both my Pokemon? Because right now I'm assuming it's Water Spouting, but like surely you a Water Spout with Butterfree. Yeah. So does it knock me out cleanly? Let's see. Oh wow. I took that with both Pokemon. Okay, I'll take that, definitely. Obviously, it would have been better not to burn the Z move, because then I could one-shot the Blastoise, but that's still a pretty positive turn in the sense that I think if I lost both of my Pokemon there, that's really bad, but fortunately both hang on, and both are really good against my opponent's team overall. So, overall, that actually ends up working out pretty nicely. Kind of. I mean, if Butterfree just gets Tailwind, and I'm like almost confident gets Tailwind, I need to double check that, but like I just remember Tailwind, Rage Powder, Sleep Powder, and Protect is typically what you would see on it. So yeah, I thought like Tailwind and Protect was going to be really bad for me, but we're going to see Pelipper come in for my opponent, which I'm happy to see, because presumably like my opponent's going to want to set up a Tailwind and Protect Blastoise. So I have a pretty safe play here, I think, of just taunting the Pelipper and Zen Headbutting. I should have brought Zapdos, though, now that I think about it. I don't know how fast the Blastoise is. So, like, if my opponent, okay, no Protects come out, which is really good. Actually, I probably would have preferred Blastoise to Protect there, as Zen Headbutt actually doesn't get the knockout. But I do get the Taunt off, and even if I lose both of my Pokemon here, that's a free switch into Landorus. And Water Spout actually comes out from Blastoise. That's not going to knock out anything. That's one of the saddest Water Spouts I've ever seen. And Pelipper does try to Tailwind as well, so that is pretty much ideal for me here. That's really good. So I'm just going to Psychic the Pelipper. And I think I want to double up into Pelipper because Blastoise is in KO range from anything. So I'm going to Psychic it and let's see what it can switch into. I know it's Taunted, so obviously can't Protect. I know it's not Sashed because we saw the Sash earlier. So, from the Butterfree. Presumably, I think it would want to switch out. If it stays in, that's fine. I get a knockout, and then I bring in Landorus and T-Tar. I also could just cover the option and just attack the Blastoise slot. So, let's see. I'm going to Psychic, and yeah, I'm going to double up into Pelipper with the Iron Head as a Psychic. Ideally, it switches into Lele. Lele gets knocked out. Psychic goes into the Blastoise slot, but it's actually Blastoise swapping out, which is interesting, as Lele's coming in that side. So I'm fairly confident Iron Head plus Psychic should get the knockout here onto the Pelipper. Surprised not to see the Pelipper switch out into the Lele slot, but it works out better for my opponent, actually. However, this is still pretty good, especially with Sandstorm in the back, so I knock out Pelipper, and what I can do now is bring in Tyranitar, get the Sand going. I'm curious as to what item this Lele has, because it could be Scarfed. Scarf would be interesting. Maybe it's better actually just to sack both of my Pokemon. I don't know if Blastoise faints from a turn to sand here. I think I'm going to double Protect this turn just to scout for what my opponent wants to do. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Protect Lele, And I'm going to switch out into Tyranitar. That's not Tyranitar, that's Landorus. What that does is it gets the Sandstorm up, and then based off the Sandstorm damage, I can see if my opponent takes Sandstorm damage before my Lele, it either means we speed tie or it's Scarfed. I'm just going to make the assumption it's Scarfed if it does take the tick before me. Alternatively, I could have just attacked with both my Pokemon there, but this Lele could have Dazzling Gleam. By bringing Tyranitar, Sand is up, which means Blastoise is on a timer as well. And Landorus should be able to close out the game by itself. And Lele protects though, okay, so that just confirms to me it's not Scarf, so making my life a little bit easier. Presumably Blastoise is going to target the Metagross slot, as it does. Going to go for an Ice Beam into there, that's fine. Doesn't really matter too much to me. As, yeah, Tyranitar is a champ with that special defense boost from Sandstorm. So that works out. I think Blastoise does actually hang on here, that's fine. So I'm going to just Psychic to cover that slot, and I'll go for a Dragon Dance. Might as well Dragon Dance here, covers anything protecting. Blastoise faints this turn, and then I bring in Metagross to win the game. So there's pretty much no way for my opponent, I think, to actually win this. Because Sand is up. Unless somehow my opponent can control the weather this turn, but I don't think so. So yeah, what looked really bad turn 1 ended up being totally fine. Really surprised not to just see the Protect on Blastoise and just a Rage Powder play. Because I guess my opponent was just hoping to get the switch into Pelipper and get Tailwind up. And maybe hope that I would like double target the Blastoise, or you know, target one and target the other. As Moonblast actually does get the knockout there on Tyranitar, so pretty impressive firepower there. But my Tyranitar is not bulky at all. I have very little. I don't think I have any bulky actually. I think I went max attack and max speed, just because I didn't have time to really figure out like the best EV spread for it. But I am max speed Metagross, so I can just bring that out in Iron Head. So glad I get to feature Tyranitar a bunch. You know, obviously I used Scarftar earlier on Road to Ranked with my Sand team. But I'm glad I get to use it in a different context. Like here, you know, it shows that you don't need to always Mega Evolve to bring it. So yeah, now Metagross can come out and just cleanly Iron Head, and Iron Head does a ridiculous amount of damage to top of Lele. Like even, I remember when I was practicing, I was like, oh, if you Intimidate, like maybe Lele can survive, and then it's like, nope, it's not even close. So Iron Head gets a knockout on Lele, and we do pick up 2 wins. I will play a third game. I've missed a bunch of uploads, and yeah, just trying to make a return. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying them. And as always, if you do enjoy, please show support by leaving a like in the video. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, like I mentioned, once again, sorry for the relatively like standard team. You guys, it's not like the most exciting stuff to see. And I've used a lot of these Pokemon before. So I think I've actually used all these Pokemon, just like putting them together now. Obviously, like this is one of the more common team archetypes that won Sydney. But like I mentioned, I ended up using this team in Sydney because while I had like a bunch of fun and creative ideas, one, I wanted just championship points towards Worlds qualification. Just because that was my main goal, just going to these regionals. And 2, I had like 2 days to really come up with something in practice. So what I was like, okay, I could try to like create this really innovative team, but then like I have no idea how it would perform against the rest of the field, or I could just make my own edits to a team that's proven to be good and try to get points off with that. So it ended up working out pretty well. Obviously I would have liked to done better than I did. 6-2 is okay, but was one of like the lower 6-2s just because I did take my losses pretty early. So just going to look for our third opponent, going to be a Japanese opponent from, obviously, Japan, with a rating of 1624. This team, Charizard, Koko, Landorus, Como, which I actually really wanted to use at Costa Mesa, but I couldn't figure it out quickly enough. Goth and Snorlax. So, very interesting. This is pretty tough. I love bringing Tyranitar against Gothitels. Lele is excellent here. I'm thinking Landorus Lele is a really solid option because I'd win the terrain where I'd get an Intimidate, I can U-turn. Lele gives me an immense amount of options to switch out. Who do I want in the back? My Zapdos does have HP Ice, so it covers both Landorus and Charizard. I'm thinking Landorus, Lele, Zapdos, Metagross this time around. Tyranitar's really tempting though, it really is. But like the thing is, I think if I wanted to bring Tyranitar in this match, I would have to go Megatar. And I'm not sure Megatar is better than Metagross here because Zen Headbutt hits everything for neutral other than Goth. And it can one-shot most things, potentially. And, yeah, okay, I think I'm going to go with Zapdos. Amoonguss, no. Just no against Charizard and Zapdos, and even Goth. Tyranitar, it is really tough keeping Tyranitar on the bench. But I think I'm going to bring Zapdos instead. Alright, let's see how this goes. Third game of the day. Hopefully we can pick up 3 wins in a row. My rating has been pretty booty, just because I've been trying out random stuff on Battle Spot. Obviously not working out too well, so hopefully we'll actually make an attempt to climb up a little bit higher. But let's see what comes out from my opponent's end, because it's definitely a scary team, and I mean, just a combination of really strong Pokemon. Gothita always makes things a little bit trickier, but with Tauntaun Lele, with U-turn on Landorus, it shouldn't be too bad to go up against. So we're going to see the Landorus and Charizard, which I think is pretty ideal here, especially because based off abilities, you'll be able to tell out what items things have. So I do get my Intimidate off first. One of the big questions is how fast the Charizard is, because if it's slower than max speed Lele, then I could just obviously go for the Psyche MZ, but given that Landorus' Intimidate goes off first, that's clearly Scarfed. So we're both Scarfed, but I mean, like, Charizard here has got to be scared, right? Like, switching in like Goth is pretty safe. This is where I'm thinking, like, maybe I should have brought in Tyranitar, because if I can prioritize knocking out Landorus, then Tyranitar comes in and can put in work. So this is really tricky right from the bat, because I don't want to just burn Psychic Z immediately. I think if you're my opponent, you probably switch in Goth. So I want a U-turn. But it's just like, this team is really weak to Heat Wave. It's really, really weak to Heat Wave. I think I'm going to U-turn the Landorus slot, because I think that switches out. And I want to make a hero call here and predict the Landorus to switch out into Goth. Psychic Z Charizard instead. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, because I think surely Charizard protects or switches out here. But I'm running out of time. Landorus actually opts to just hard switch out instead of U-turning. Going into Coco. Okay. Now that's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, I should have brought Megatar, I think. And Charizard Mega Evolves, which probably means it is going to attack, which is bad. That's pretty bad. I'm just surprised. I mean, like, yeah, bringing in Coco doesn't solve the Landorus just trying to get a huge attack off. So, wow, Charizard stays in front of me. I guess it probably was like, okay, I can take a Rock Slide, so I'm not really too worried about that. I'll be able to see how fast the Charizard is here, at least. But this is not good for me. Definitely not good for me. Because, like, the thing is, normally I was thinking, okay, Charizard must be scared of, like, a Stone Edge or a Rock Tomb, because my opponent should know I'm Scarfed based off the fact that my Intimidate activated before my opponent's. And I know it's Scarfed, too. So the question now is, we gotta see how fast it is. I do get my Psyche MZ off here, so this is not Timid Charizard, or it could be Timid, just slower than Lele. But without Psychic Terrain, this surely won't knock out. So maybe this is, my opponent just read this completely and expected me to go for this play, which, if that's the case, props to my opponent. But yes, unfortunately, I don't think Psychic Z here knocks out Charizard without the Psychic Terrain. I am Timid as well, not Modest, so yeah, Rock Slide plus Psychic would have worked out quite nicely there. I just really thought Goth was switching in for sure. And you can see Charizard clearly taking that pretty decently as we just see a Heat Wave come out. Not going to miss anything, which obviously is not great for me. Gonna hit both of my Pokemon. Zapdos will eat the Citrus Berry, so yeah, like, Scarf Heat Wave is just really tough to go up. I'm sorry, not Scarf Heat Wave. Heat Wave in general. I just thought, like, Rock Slide plus Psychicking the Charizard was, like, so obvious of a play, and I thought surely Charizard protects or switches out there. So nice play by my opponent. Now, the thing is, Coco can't knock out both of my Pokemon. I don't know who's faster between Zapdos and Charizard, but I don't have much speed investment, so presumably Charizard. I'm going to try to go for a Tailwind here, and I think I'm just going to protect my Lele, because what this allows me to do is get a free switch it into Landorus. I could also have hard gambled and switched out into Landorus based off what slot I thought Coco was targeting. Because one thing I could have done, I mean, like, I feel like Coco here should target the Lele, because you've got to be worried about, you know, I'm faster with Lele against Charizard. But yeah, Tyranitar probably would have been the call here, as Charizard actually protects. That's interesting, because if Coco doesn't target Lele, I get Tailwind up. But it looks like it's a Z move, so presumably that's going into Zapdos, which, well, like I said, I was really contemplating switching that out into Landorus, but I didn't make the call. Because Heat Wave, a Flamethrower, I think may just knock me out, and I didn't want to risk that, but I'm not sure this really puts me in a great position still. Yeah, that turn 1 play was a really impressive call my opponent said. Quite risky, but it worked out. And yeah, there's Gigavolt into Zapdos. So it would have been so nice switching that into Landorus, but that was a very tough call to make. Protect on Charizard was kind of a curious decision. Was kind of surprised to see that, but I'm going to bring out Landorus now. Might need a hope for a flinch right now. Alternatively, I could just switch Lele, but I don't want Lele switching into Metagross and just taking a Thunderbolt. And if I got a flinch on Zapdos, I'd be able to just knock out Coco. Flinch on Coco, sorry. Yeah, so I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide here, because I don't have any Earthquake switch-ins either. So Rock Slide and just Moonblast, because if I flinch Coco, that actually instantly puts me back in the game. Coco could also switch out into Landorus, that's fine, but I think here, if you're my opponent, you swap Charizard out into Landorus, and you Thunderbolt the Tapu Lele, to which I have pretty much no counterplay. Alternatively, I could have brought in Metagross, but don't really think that accomplishes much. I mean, you could bring out Metagross and then switch Lele out into Landorus, but basically turn 1 was really good for my opponent, and last turn I also could have gambled a little bit. So Charizard switches out, that's not too surprising. It's going to be the Landorus coming back in, so exactly as I said, but that is pretty much the best play from my opponent's end. No reason not to go for that. Actually, if Coco protects here, then that'll be a really smart play from my opponent's end, and it does. So that was really good. Very well done on my opponent's end. Because now I'm in the awkward spot where, like, Landorus potentially could just go for a Rock Slide as well. Although I don't think that would knock out Lele. Now, I did have the opportunity to switch out into Metagross last turn. I opted not to go for it, which obviously sucks. So, let's see. I don't think a Rock Slide knocks out Lele. So I think I'm still going to go for the same play and just hope for the flinch onto Coco. Otherwise, I could switch into Metagross. But once again, I'd be eating up a Thunderbolt, and Coco is still faster than me. So because I didn't get speed control up this game, might need a flinch from Scarf Landorus. There's not any better game plan, I think. Because I was expecting my opponent to go with, like, the slower mode of the team, or potentially bring Galatasaur out. The fact that God didn't even make an appearance makes me think my opponent didn't bring it, which also makes this just a lot tougher. And that turn 1 was just a incredible call on my opponent's end. Coco actually switched out into Charizard, which indicates to me that Landorus is going to be going for the Earthquake. So let's see if I can get a flinch here. I missed the Landorus, so no flinch, and that will probably seal up my fate here. I'll knock out Charizard, but Landorus will surely get an Earthquake off there and knock out Lele. So, yeah, like I said, I didn't really have anything better to do, as if I switch in Metagross, it just takes a Scarf Earthquake. That doesn't really work out for me. Pretty much need to flinch. And this team is super weak to Heat Wave if you don't bring Tyranitar. I ended up making the call not to bring Tyranitar, and that probably was a mistake in the end, because Tyranitar would have helped me a lot, especially given how turn 1 played out. And so that was just me, not trusting Tyranitar enough. And part of that was because I was kind of worried about Como with the fighting type attacks. But I guess Como's a pretty tough cell to bring. Actually, it does come out here, though, so, yeah. It's still not, like, necessarily, the game's not necessarily over. I'm going to Rock Slide here, obviously, with Landorus, because I'm Scarfed. The thing is, I think I probably need at least one flinch. The other question is, does Como here just Z-move? And who do I target with Metagross? I would Earthquake and Z-move right now if I'm my opponent. Because protecting is kind of risky, I think. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I know it's Scarf Coco in the back. But that means surely Como protects. I still targeted Como. I don't like that. I think I should have targeted Landorus. Huh? Oh, I guess that makes sense for your Intimidate's sake, but I don't know about that one. Actually, no. I mean, I still like that play from my opponents, and never mind. If Como doesn't Z-move here, though, this will be very... Or if it doesn't protect here, this will be very interesting. Surely it protects. It doesn't! Oh, I missed another Rock Slide. Like, that's honestly annoying just because the chip damage is pretty crucial at this point in the game. But, oh well. And then Heba does connect with Como. Okay, let's see if this knocks out. Even if not, a chance of flinching is pretty high. Alright, so I do get the knockout. I get a crit there. But now I know my opponent has Scarf Landorus, and it has to come back in. I should have considered not Mega Evolving there, but I wasn't sure I'd knock out Como if I didn't Mega Evolve. And Electricity disappears as well, so this game is not over by any means. So Landorus comes back out. Gonna get the Intimidate against both of my Pokemon. This is where I kind of wish I had Ice Punch, but that doesn't matter too much. Like, surely the Landorus must lock itself into Earthquake. You can't, sorry, Rock Slide. You can't Earthquake. Obviously, I'm clicking Rock Slide with Landorus here. The question is, what do I do with Metagross? I might just Stomping Tantrum Coco here. You can't, yeah, I think you have to hit Rock Slide here for my opponent. Maybe a knockoff. My opponent could knock off T-Bolt the Metagross, if it has knockoff. I'm gonna Stomping the Coco here, Alright, let's see. This is so intense. I thought, like, this game was over from the start. No Protect! Are you serious? Does T-Ball knock me out? Can I survive? Okay, that's good. I don't think stomping knocks out here, though. Ah, missing these are so annoying. I missed 4 rock slides now. And obviously, like, I didn't even need to rely on flinches. If I just hit all of them, I think I honestly would have this one. Now you knock off Landorus. Yeah, the thing is, rock slide doesn't knock out Coco now. I needed to hit that at least 1 of 2. I mean, I could still flinch here. Yeah, if I got the flinch, I'm gonna just rock slide Iron Head here. I could have protected Metagross as well. But, okay, Coco protects. That's a good play. Ah, that's annoying. Okay. Rock slide finally hits, but, I mean, it's not the damage output. Like, you see I'm not doing very much, but I think 2 minus 2 rock slide still knocks out Coco. I do get the flinch on Landorus, but unfortunately I target the Coco slot. So, rock slide again. I could protect Metagross here. I don't think I am. I'm just going to Iron Head the Coco slot. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about my position now. I do hit Rock Slide again on both. Almost knocks out Coco. Gets the crit on Landorus. Landorus does knock off. Does target Metagross. Okay, if Coco flinches here, even if it doesn't, maybe I'm still in an okay spot. It dazzles, so it doesn't have HP Ice. No, I think I still lose. I need a flinch on Landorus here. Because now you go for the knockoff and you protect Coco and you'll outspeed me. So I need a flinch Landorus and then I'm in this, maybe. Yeah, I could have Iron-Headed the Landorus. And I did get lucky with the crit, obviously. And the flinch that turn. Yeah, Coco's obviously protecting here. Live and faint by the Rock Slide. Rock Slide's coming out. Does connect. Alright, let's see. Can we get a flinch? Nope. GG. I'm pretty frustrated because I do think if I hit my rock slides this game, even if without flinches, I win the game. But, oh well. I could have protected Metagross, yeah, there as well. That was something, like, protecting Metagross, cycling through it could have been better. I just wanted to see what my opponent was going to go for that first turn, and wanted to capitalize off getting an attack off. But, yeah, those misses were pretty heartbreaking, because I think I honestly win this game without the misses. But that's just part of the game, and obviously rock slide's accuracy is not the best, so you kind of have to rely on that. But super fun episode. I mean, that game was, like, really close, and it shows, like, some of the weaknesses of Scarf Landorus, where it's, like, you obviously are limited by your options, and also, like, in the late game, you have to choose one attack. So my opponent did have knockoff. I wasn't sure if it had it or not. And, yeah, if I protected a Metagross there, that would have put me... I mean, I would have gotten the opportunity to just hit more rock slides, but I was hoping just to get the knockout there at that time. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate, but I think my opponent probably played a little bit better than me that last game anyway, and I was in a position where I was maybe trying to get a flinch or two. It just kind of sucked, because I was like, when the Coco switched in and I got the knockout on Como, I was like, oh, wow, I can actually still win this, but such is such. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. I had a lot of fun with this one, and yeah, this team is still really fun to play with, even though it's a little bit more standard, so hopefully we'll get to see a more Megatar. I'll just use it probably for a week and then switch to a new team. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like, and I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.